And we welcome you to Hot Mike with Hastings and Lindahl. A lot of headroom there. All right. Welcome, everyone. Hot Mike, Hastings and Lindahl hanging out with you tonight. And certainly, I guess, not the outcome we thought we'd be talking about when we were having a little fun last week. But here we are anyway, Scotty. Is the Avs just didn't get it done the way they wanted to last night, and so that's just going to be what you have to live with. I guess I'll bring this a little bit closer to me. Yeah, a bit of a bummer. Avalanche don't get it done. Have a really probably played, I don't know, was that one of their I don't want to call it one of their worst games because they started out really good. But man, Scotty, they just seem to lose a little bit of energy and just never kind of just chase the game the whole night. Not what you want for a game one at home.
No, they chased it, and they did, though, make it a game, right? I mean, at least they've kind of made it a game. The funny thing is, it wasn't like Montreal, the Canes, right? I mean, North Carolina looked like they hadn't played in 10 or 12 days, had they? But listen, they fought back into it. Here's the funny thing, and we'll talk about it tonight, and you and I talked about it on the phone an hour or so ago, and we talked about it on our show on PhD. Of all the sports, the four major sports in particular, but we could try to add others, and maybe there is, but I don't know if luck plays a bigger part in any, good or bad, in any other sport like it does in hockey. A bad bounce. You know, we could say it was good luck on Landeskog's goal. The guy's blade came in at a little bit of an angle and lifted it up. Otherwise, that was going to be in the pad. And we're going to be upset and talk about it today. A shot, an ill-advised timing of a shot, but kicks out to a guy who just came out of out of the penalty, and all of a sudden you got 2-on-1. So I don't know if there's any other sport that has so much luck involved. That being said, and I think Bednar talked about the first 5 minutes they had a shot. They came out okay and had a couple shots. And then after that, it just, to me, it seemed like they skated in the middle part of that game for about 35 minutes, just kind of like it was a conditioning game, right? Let's just get some run. Let's get up and down the ice. And just wasn't a lot of enthusiasm.
No, and I think what the Avs need to realize, and I think, and look, you could talk about this, Scotty. I don't know exactly what experience you have with it, but I got to imagine you have some. You know, you've talked about your experience on the Pistons when you played on the second of their back-to-back teams that won the championship. Not that the Avs are in that realm right now, but look, I think they've probably had a little bit easier run in the playoffs than maybe even I thought they would. I really thought that Minnesota series would probably go 6. I frankly thought Minnesota might give them a tougher time, but when the Avs decided they wanted to, they put the push on and they suffocated Minnesota and showed that they were the better team. I think the Avs have to get it through their head. This will be the toughest series that you face. This is not the Vegas Golden Knights of January. This is not the Vegas Golden Knights of February. This is a damn veteran team with some stars of their own that know how to score. They right now are playing well and feeling good about themselves. And I don't know that you showed up with the kind of gumption you needed to last night, Scotty, and maybe they got to get in their head. They could tell us that they did all that kind of stuff last night. It just didn't look like to me. You finally showed the last 10 minutes of the third period you knew how you had to play, but you better play that way a whole game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And you know, listen, sometimes if you learn that early in the series and you learn it in the loss, and you can bounce back and grow from it, and then good. Two things. One, you and I, we talked about this before, and I think the Nuggets fall into this malaise sometime during the season of where's the energy? Yep. Where's the fire? Where's the jump up? The Avs have done this for a number of times this year also, where you're like, you know, where they'll get down 3-0 in the first period, that Minnesota game. And you're like, what's going on here? but they're so talented. They've been able to come back. I didn't feel like it was that bad. Listen. I thought they looked slower. I thought they weren't, used to the one goal. You got two defensemen in there, both take the puck, and the other guy's supposed to be in the middle of the ice. Instead, they're both on the side where the puck is, and they showed that at the intermission. One of the former players and said, "Listen, you got one guy's got to be here, one guy's got to be over here," and they were. Well, guess what? They may have not been paired up much together, and they haven't played against. I think it was Malinsky and somebody, but so there was a communication thing, and they talked about that today. There's an execution thing, and they did that. You and I always, I think, believe if you play with a crazy amount of energy and fire, isn't it funny how you seem to execute better anyway? So I don't know if they had the fire.
Yeah, and the problem was, what I saw last night was a team that came out, didn't get a goal despite a couple pretty good opportunities.
A couple good opportunities early.
Then the building sort of went, oh, and the building never got back into it. And then you get to the second period, it's scoreless, and halfway through, what happens? Energy killers, right?
Yep.
Energy killers and look, I've the guy, if anyone's banged the drum for Scott Wedgwood to be the dude on our station, I think I've probably been the guy when it comes to this season. That was a soft goal, maybe one of the worst he's given up all year. Look, goalies are going to let that's going to happen. I still think he played a good game overall. He had some incredible saves in the first period to keep that thing scoreless for as long as he did. But, man, you can't give that one up, man. You saw that one coming. It was a shot from out far. You almost got the pillows closed, but you got to have the pillows closed right there, and it didn't happen. You ended up being in a one-goal game with 2 minutes left to go. That's kind of the goal in my mind that you're chasing because that's the one that you shouldn't have given up.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. So then all of a sudden, and then look, again, I love all these guys. We're about to talk about a lot of guys tonight. That doesn't mean I think they suck. That doesn't mean I think that they, these are my dudes. But Ross Colton, you cannot hit a guy in the face. Did he take a dive? He took a dive. But when you go to a guy's head, you give him the opportunity to take a damn dive and get called. Then Brett Burns, who did not play a good game last night either, falls asleep, and I don't know how Dorofeev sneaks by you. He's been their hottest goal scorer going for a while. That PK, that power play there is dangerous. You got to stay off the PK with them. You cannot put them on the power play. They make you pay. You lose Dorofeev somehow. He snipes one. Now you're down 2-0. And then we talked about another guy. I'll just go in this first segment. I'll let you go. My guy, Sam Malinsky, who I love. And I think, again, Sam Malinsky, much like Wedgwood, I think overall had a good game. But the problem is Malinsky had a bad decision at the end of a penalty, and we talked to John Michael Lyles about it today. You made a bad decision, and I know some on our station have talked about incredible luck.
Lucky.
I don't give a crap. I don't give a shit. You made a bad decision that led to their good luck. You cannot have that in the playoffs because now you're down 3-0 and you're chasing the game. The crowd's out of it.
Well, listen, I'll give you another example too. The empty netter.
Dude.
If you go back and look at 3-2, one, I said this today, and this is they were talking about it. This is part of the execution, but you can't be when you don't have a goaltender. In my opinion, when you don't have a goaltender, you can't be dumping and chasing. All you're doing is, you're lucky you got one icing. The guy shot wide right, but you just dump and chase. And if you don't win the puck or get or the first one's there, they turn around and had a free shot at it. You gave them that free shot, and then the second time they get it out. The puck kind of comes out a little deeper, or they're going to ice it again. It's not going in, and then I don't remember who it was. Just out sprints your guys, and if you see both guys,
Dowd or something.
Yeah, both guys are kind of standing there thinking it's just going to be icing, and their guy takes off, and then all of a sudden they've got to try to start. That was a lazy play, man.
It was extremely lazy, and you gave up.
Play.
My friends and I were complaining. You met my boy Jay and Stan were watching with me. And my buddy Jay, who loves hockey and played a little bit of it until he jacked his shoulder up. What he couldn't believe, you know who else went to sleep on that? Nathan McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon was near the blue line as they broke out. And if anybody's got the speed to make sure that stays in icing, it's McKinnon. And he fell asleep too. They just played a slow game. And Bednar talked about it. Now look, again, Nate's a guy I thought I ain't calling out Nate. I'm disappointed in that play by Nate, but the whole game, boy, in the third period, it felt like Nate's like, all right, you guys aren't going to come with me. Screw this. I'm just going to go down there and I'll go do it. When Nate goes into I'll make plays and we'll see who comes with me mode, that's kind of like when Joker starts throwing some passes. You don't want to see that.
That's kind of fun, but it's fun to watch, man.
It's fun to watch.
The pass he made to Landeskog, just
stupid.
To get to where he could get it was just unbelievable. I mean,
it matched what Marner did to set up Dorofeev on that power play.
Yeah. So, listen, I ain't gonna give an excuse. I mean, they had a few days off.
But so did Vegas.
Montreal's winning, by the way, against a team that hadn't lost any games in the Stanley Cup playoffs so far. They're up 6-2 right now. So,
yeah, listen, I told people Montreal's plucky, and so's Vegas. And you just got to be ready you got to be ready to play these games. And what disappoints me, Scotty, is you know, you could talk about this too. You got to be ready to have even emotions. The Avs came out, gave that big emotional push to go with the physical push, and then all of it shut off, and they didn't really get their emotions back until late in the game when it was a little too late.
I agree 100%. You said something just a while ago too, and you and I talked this afternoon. Listen, Vegas was expected to compete for the West.
Yes.
I mean, they had expectations. If you go back and look preseason, when all the people are saying, well, this team could do this and this team could do this, it wasn't Minnesota people were talking about, really. It was kind of Vegas, Dallas, and the Avalanche in the Western Conference. They had a bad year. And you know how I know they had a bad year? They fired their coach.
Yeah.
They fired their coach with 8 games to go. He's won 2 series now for you. I think he was 7-0-1 in the last 8 games of the season. We talked to their play-by-play guy yesterday. He said, listen, he's got these guys. He's a defensive first guy. He's got these guys blocking shots. They blocked 23 shots last night to the Avs 11. 23-11. That says a little bit something to me, intensity-wise too. And that I don't even think blocks, and I don't know, maybe they do. I don't think that counts cross ice passing. Maybe it does.
They block passes too, Scotty.
Yeah, but they get down and do that too, and that's a little bit of their MO. But that's a sign to me. I mean, I didn't even think they played great, but they played like they wanted to win the game. And I thought the Avalanche played like they knew they were the better team.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of hand wringing going over missing Cale Makar for good reason. He's one of the best players in the world. And I realize there's spots where you missed Cale Makar. But if you get your ass in front of the net, if you play a heavy game, if you play the tough kind of playoff hockey that you played against the Kings, who also don't let you get, who also don't let you have easy goals or passes or all over the ice, you win that game. There were rebounds made available by Carter Hart. Nobody was around to clean a lot of those up half the time. Yep. Where was that? You know what I mean? Nobody was taking his eyes away. And Ray Ferraro said late in the third period, Vegas is a big, heavy team, and they're just pushing the Avs out to the perimeter, and you're not going to beat them just shooting from the perimeter, And like you said, not only that dump and chase you tried to go on when you had the empty net, but the dump and chase all night was not really your friend. You got to carry that puck in the zone. You got to control it in there. And look, the Avs have got to, unless you're creating chaos by this point in the playoffs, I'm going to call it because it's a reference from lacrosse, but I think it fits in hockey. The cross crease pass, 1 point to the next, 1 point to, they all know you want it. They're defensemen jumping in the lane to take it away from you. Yeah. You've got to get them scrambling around before you can try it because they're all waiting to take it away from you. Vegas had their sticks of their bodies in every passing lane you want to go to, man. You You got to force them out of that game, and you didn't do it last night. So we'll see what the adjustment tomorrow is.
You talk about carrying the puck into your own zone, and I couldn't agree more. If you want to look at an area of the game where you might have missed McCarr, there's a big area for you right there. That's a big area for you right there, where you might have missed him. I think Taves does a nice job, but I mean, you can tell the speed's a little different. The stick handling's a little bit different. And Nature's, especially McCarr's out. He had 100 points this year. He's got to have goals, I think, in this series. I think he's got to be that sharpshooter, right? He's got to be that guy that lines things up a little bit more aggressive than maybe he is accustomed to.
Listen, Scotty, I said it on the show. I'll say it here again. Someone got mad at me. Nature's been all over the ice. Yeah, he has. I agree with that. But guess what?
We're being critical. Ain't saying they played bad. I'm glad Nature's on our team. I think he's been phenomenal.
No, you're right. But listen,
they need another sniper.
You agreed to $11 million a year because you hit corners with the puck. You agreed to $11 million a year because you score goals. Logan O'Connor's all over the ice. Parker Kelly's all over the ice. Jack Drury's all over the ice. Okay? They don't have the shot you do. You have the elite salary because you're getting paid to score and score in the playoffs, period. It's got to start happening. He's got one goal. One. Now, look, he had a hell of a play to set up the game winner that ended the Minnesota series. So, again, we're not saying the guy sucks, but we're saying what we're saying really is, Scotty, if you're going to beat Vegas, he's got to start scoring, period. He can't not have a goal this series and think you're going to get past Vegas. It's just not going to work that way.
Especially with McCarr, his status in doubt.
Yeah, even if McCarr comes, let's talk honestly about McCarr for a minute, Scotty. And this absolutely sucks, at least from my point of view. He may come back because he's tough and he's a hockey player and he's a pro athlete. That doesn't mean he's going to be what he was. That doesn't mean he's going to have his shot. That doesn't mean he's going to feel right just because he's out there. So I am almost expecting, I don't know what I expect to get from Cale at this point. Because if it is a shoulder and the way that thing seemed to pop out on minimal contact, as they pointed out, that doesn't make me feel real great for how effective he's going to be the rest of the
Well,
run.
listen, they had a good video of him working out today. And I pointed out two things on the video. One, he's skating great. He's handled the puck good. Got to the corner, the guy that he's kind of trying to play with and beat lays up because he was going to hit him. He was going to hit him on that right shoulder, and he backed away. Where, guess what? Vegas ain't going to back away. They're going to target it.
Oh, they're going to come see how good you feel.
Yeah, you know that, and I know that. And then, two, when he shot, it was just a little wrister, which McCarr, what we've come to love is that, boom, putting that little big-ass wind-up slap shot. And if your shoulder's dislocated and they put a harness on it so you can play, your range of motion is about like this. So it might keep the shoulder in place and allow you to play, but all of a sudden that big slapper from the top that we see all the time or from the wing, I didn't see him extend that arm up. It's like having a backswing in golf and your backswing's here all the time. You John Rahm it all the time, and then he somehow creates velocity. But I didn't see that in the video. I didn't see that. And that may be because underneath that sweater he's wearing and everything, you've seen those harnesses. Guys wear it all the time, right? In football and basketball. I saw Andre Miller play a couple of games with one of those. But your arm is limited to like this.
Well,
yes, instead of this.
And Scotty, and look, if he can go, they may let him go because they need the game tomorrow night. Although I'll say this, Avs fans, even if they lose tomorrow night, I think you still got a shot to win the series. You just can't let them get to 3. I think it's very important you don't let them get to 3 before you do. You know what I mean? So that'll be the key because this is, and I've said this before. Look, this is the NHL playoffs. This is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. And as you aptly pointed out, Carolina got their taste tonight. Nobody goes 16-0 in the playoffs, man. And frankly, the Avs and the Hurricanes, they've had it easy. Normally, this stuff's stressful. Normally, you don't go 4-0 and 4-1 or 4-0 and 2 straight. You got to worry about it. You got to stress these games. It is what it is. So, look, this is a good point. I was going to bring him up. He says Champ Bailey played with a harness for a while. You're right, Crazy Ray. But here's the thing. Champ Bailey played at a position where he could help control some of the contact. He didn't have to run into the pile if he maybe even was told, don't get too crazy in the pile. Get the guy down if you can, but if nothing else, force him towards the inside. They're going to come after Cale Makar on that shoulder. And the other problem in hockey is it's not just the contact you see coming. It's I lost an edge and fell down. It's, you know what I mean? It's the slam into the boards. It's like there's going to be contact.
What defenseman in the NHL have you ever seen chase a puck down the corners multiple times every single game and don't get touched?
Not wear one, right?
Yeah.
And Crazy Ray says he agrees, but it's look, dude, it's a tough ask. But I'm still saying this. I don't agree. Paul Bissonnette said without Makar, it's over. They're in trouble. I don't agree with that. The Avs are good enough to get past this series, but you got to play it the right way. And look, a guy like Josh Manson, I think Josh Manson had one of his worst games in a while last night. He looked slow. He turned the puck over. He made some just questionable decisions with where he was passing. Man, Nazem Kadri, man. I love Nazem Kadri. I'm glad you got him back, bro. I knew you weren't the 2022 Nazem Kadri, but my gosh, you look old right now. There's no jump, and maybe the hand's bugging him more than we'll ever know. I don't know. Frankly, I love our man Gabe. Gabe looked a little sluggish last night. Yeah. These are all things that you got to get up and going. And someone said it earlier. I can't find. Oh, here it is from Steve Myers. Nelson has been absent. Brock Nelson's done some good things, but Brock Nelson's another guy you gave a fat contract to put some goals in the net this time of year. You're a big centerman that they acquired to be the net front presence. If you're not that, they are not going to win the series. That's all there is to it. Yep. You can't have your fourth line being the one they laud the most on the broadcast all the time.
Yep. Now, you know, your fourth line can help you get started once in a while and get you going and give you energy. But listen, I think every team you would play in the playoffs say, okay, we'll let the third and fourth lines dominate, but we're going to make the first and second lines quiet. If you flash back, isn't that kind of what Dallas did last year?
Oh yeah.
Dallas kind of quiet those first couple lines.
Look, man, it would help if Nichushkin really got going. So I hope his goal last night does that. I also hope that Nick Waz got to get going a little bit more. And look, Nick played a pretty good game, but you got to quiet again. The guys that got to quiet and Arturi Lehkonen, I know is coming. I'll tell you this: the guys that came back from injury and Malinsky and Lehkonen looked like he still was a little bit more bothered than Malinsky did. You know what I mean? So, and Lecky's a playoff player. You got to have Arturi Lehkonen, but the Lehkonen, Waugh, Nichushkin, Brock Nelson. These are the dudes that got to get in front of the net and create some. Gabe Landeskog, I need some chaos out of you. I need you there when he coughs up a rebound. I need you there to put it home, man, because that's how you win these playoff games late in the year, dude.
Yep.
So hopefully they play some playoff hockey tomorrow night. I still believe they're the better team.
You know what happens? You get a couple of those little cheapy rebounds, putbacks. All of a sudden the goalie starts getting his head. I got to be perfect. I got to be perfect. I got to be perfect. And that's how he slides back over one time, maybe a little bit too far. And all of a sudden there's that cross. It's wide open. So, you got.
And look, like you said, did Vegas get lucky? They did. That last goal that jumped over a couple. But again, you made a bad decision when Malinsky shot one he should not have shot late in the penalty clock. And Lyles told us Wedgwood was banging his stick on the ice to let him know, hey, man, be smart. He's about to come out. You shot it anyway, and it led to their luck. If you had kept the puck, their luck doesn't get to happen. Yeah, what are you going to do? You know what? At the end of the day, go win this one tomorrow, and you should still feel fine, right?
Yeah, feel fine. Listen, you win tomorrow and win what is tomorrow? Or you win Friday and Sunday, you're fine. Yeah, if you win tomorrow, lose Friday, win. God, what is it? Friday, Sunday. You win tomorrow, lose Sunday, win Tuesday.
In
You're fine.
Tuesday.
You're fine.
Yeah. All
You're,
you needed 2-2. 2-2, go take the last two.
yeah.
But look, man, you got to solve Carter Hart, dude. Carter Hart's a damn good goalie. I know he had his off-field problems, and it's nasty what happened. But the reality is the dude's playing, and you better go figure that out. You better go figure that out. And you ain't going to figure it out firing without traffic in front of the net as well, you know? So,
Yep.
I don't know,
Well,
Scotty. I'm not.
That goes back to that goal that Wedgwood gave up. There was no traffic in front of him.
Well, and see that again. One of our, I think he might have joined late, but a compensated anarchist. I'll tell you this, dude. Yeah, the first goal absolutely hurt. It was way too soft to give up, Scotty. And look, I hate saying it because again, Wedgwood had some incredible. He had a couple incredible quick flinch reaction saves to keep it scoreless in the first period on some Vegas breakaways. But you know, look, the margins are every round that we get to, the margins are so thin. I have to tell you that. You just can't afford mistakes, man.
No.
And they had too many of them.
The 82 game regular season is such a grind. and you hope the teams are locked in. They're not all the time. And sometimes you get away with little mistakes. But these are series. This is one team. Your focus is on one team. You're staying in the town for 3 or 4 days. You're good. There's no distraction. You play. You make a mistake in the playoffs, it kills you.
Yeah, and again, they can't afford to decide that we'll wait till the last 10 minutes to do something. Like tomorrow, you need to come out and get the first goal. You know what I mean? Frankly, what have they gone? I think they've gone 3 or 4 games now not scoring the first goal. They didn't get the first goal in game 3 against Minnesota. They didn't get it in game 4. They didn't get it in game 5. And then they didn't get it last night. That's 4 games not scoring the first goal. Don't get the first goal.
Did they score the first goal in game 2?
Great question. I don't even remember. Yes, they had control of game 2 against Minnesota most of the way. They had control because remember they jumped out and made Minnesota chase them a bit. And then I think they got the first goal of every game against LA, if I'm not mistaken. But since game 3 of Minnesota, they have not had the first goal. So tomorrow it's time to get the first goal.
Well, I know they did in game 4 and game 5 because I remember in game 4 after Minnesota scored, they were undefeated in the postseason scoring the first goal.
Right.
So that got you. And then you're down 3-0. And was that 4 or 5? You're down 3-0 and you come back and win it. The game 5, right? You're down 3-0. You gave up the first, second, and third goal.
Well, that's just it. They're not doing a great job of answering lately. At least in game 4 in Minnesota when they won, Minnesota got the one, then the Avs tied it. Boy, am I getting that right? Yeah, I'm almost positive Minnesota got. I might be wrong about that now. Now I'm not so confident. Did they get the first one in game 4? That was the watch party I was doing. I take it back. They might have gotten the first one in game 4 and Minnesota answered right away.
I think Minnesota scored first.
Okay. You might be right. I can't remember. You might be right. Either way. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because guess what? You need the first goal tomorrow. You just do.
Yeah.
Because, and Scotty, maybe you can even talk about this from your athlete days. You get a guy feeling good about themselves, especially goalies. You got to break that good feeling. Remember, that's what Vegas did to the Avs in 21 when they got the puck off Grubauer.
There's no other sport other than hockey that does that. There's no other sport other than hockey that momentum can swing in a second. Now, listen, believe it or not, Carolina scored first tonight. Problem is they let it go 33 seconds. Or I think they scored the first goal in 33 seconds. And then a minute later, they let Montreal tie it up, and then Montreal just went on an onslaught and led 4-1 after the first period. That was an onslaught.
Well, and it's funny because Montreal could barely get into their offense last series against Buffalo. They couldn't even get solid setups. I've told people, I think there's a little something going on with Montreal, man. They feel plucky to me. Plucky, tough, no problem with the moment.
Sweet uniforms.
Well, and remember that Montreal's got a special atmosphere, dude. You want to talk about a place, they love hockey like we love football here, frankly. So
yeah, let them find a way to win game 2. Game 3 is going to be crazy no matter what.
right.
But let them find a way to win game 2. Game 3 is going to be crazy.
We were talking about the luck in hockey and how it's different than any other sport because you really can't control. Like, you can work so hard and luck can just not go your way, right? Where normally, if you're working hard in another sport, the luck usually kind of goes your way to reward you in many ways. You guys had that insane stat I heard about as I was driving in, or I was on my way to see my friends at Southern Steer Butcher, but you had that stat about what is it in hockey? 65% of the time, the team that wins game 1 loses game 2 if they're on the road, right?
Yeah,
but in basketball, it was 75% of the time. If the road team wins game 1, they lose game 2.
Yeah, it was 62% in the NHL. 62% of the road teams will win game 1 on the road, lose game 2, and it's 73% in basketball. Which happened last night with San Antonio, right?
Well, it also just tells you cannot control the luck. Just because you come out harder and hungrier and now we're taking it seriously doesn't mean that the bounce is going to go your way, right?
No, I've always thought this: when you win a game on the road in game 1, winning and losing doesn't matter. Game 2, it's how you play. If you come out in that second game, and I always use this. I remember Denver went into San Antonio during their run, the Nuggets. During that run with Parker and Duncan and Ginobili and the whole gang winning trophies and blah, blah, blah. And they just took it to San Antonio, won game 1. Well, they partied. They partied for the next 2 days. Came out game 2, got beat by 39, and then lost game 3, game 4, game 5, series over. And when you're a road team, and the reason you're the road team is because you're not as good as the other team. Through the 82-game season, you win game 1, you got to come out like you lost game 1. You got to come out game 2 with a crazy ass attitude. Now, if you lose it, that's fine, but you got to send a message to the other team. It ain't gonna be easy. We think we deserve it. If you're gonna beat us, it's gonna take everything you got. So the Avs need to come out and be ready for a good push. Now, if Vegas comes out and just gives it to them, they roll over and it's a 5-1 game, then the Avs are going to win this thing in five games, 6 tops.
Well, what you're hoping is a little of their magic got snapped last night. Carter Hart finally, because Carter Hart, they had said, had made like 55 straight saves going back to the closeout game against Anaheim. So, and look, we've talked about it, and I know it in lacrosse, man. Sometimes your goalie just feels like he can't be stopped or scored on. Then you score, and all of a sudden, it's funny. Yeah. One leads to another, and then all of a sudden, they're not so high. And like I said, Grubauer did it a couple of times. Georgiev did it. Remember, Georgiev couldn't be scored on against Winnipeg a couple years ago. Then they go to Dallas. He couldn't stop anything.
Well, so, it's kind of like win streaks. I always say this. Watch teams in all sports when they have one of those long win streaks. I think the last one I remember, I think Houston went on an 18-game win streak. They finally lost. Then it's funny. Then they're going to lose like 3 of the next 4. Right?
Dude, Dallas, did you remember Dallas went on that same insane win streak out of the Olympic break and was pushing the Avs for the top seed? Next thing you know, they nearly lost home ice to Minnesota.
Yeah. Not that it mattered, but yeah, no, it once that streak gets over, you let your hair down a little bit. I think probably the same thing with the goalie. Also, you let it go in, you go, okay, well, there's that streak of 58 straight shots I stopped. Okay, now I can just go back to playing. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait, well, there's 2 now. So it'll be interesting.
So this guy asked me this. You want to hear? You know what? I've always wanted to ask you this. I always forget to ask you this. So this guy goes, Andy, you ever drop the gloves? Yes, I fought in lacrosse. Now, it always ends up being stupid because you have helmets on, right? Now, one time, Me and this one guy punched each other so many times I got dizzy. So that probably was dumb. But is there not? So Scotty, the worst time I got pretzeled one time really bad because I shoved the guy. I expected a shove back, and instead of the shove, he literally grabbed my face mask and just twisted me. Like he had my neck so bent up, my arms are flailing and everything. Like I expected like a shove, and then maybe we go. You know what I'm saying? Like we do a couple 1, 2, 3, this, and he just went right to fight mode. I mean, I was like, hey, you kind of broke the dance rules. That's on me. I guess I shouldn't assume those were the dance rules, but don't you expect at least a shove back before you go, or is that not a thing in your mind?
No, listen, I got a handful of fights, and the one, and I even told this guy that eventually, but the one I just really got my butt kicked, because the same thing, you shove back, I shove you, then we chest up. And then 9 out of 10 times, guys jump in there, and all you're doing is MFing each other, right?
It's like a baseball fight, right?
Yeah. Guy comes down. He and I have been bumping a little bit. Sidney Green bumps me. I, boom, hit him back with an elbow. We square up. And now this were a couple pushes and smack talk. Boom! He jazzed me right in the mouth. I go, mother. And it was we push, shove, we square up. Next thing you know, I got a jab right in the mouth. Hit me right in the mouth. I go, mother, boom. Hits me again. You start, boom. He jabbed me 3 times. I had braces on my top teeth at the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He jabbed me 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. Right in the mouth. Mouth's bleeding. I got a wire snapped off of my braces, and it's sticking up through my upper lip like this, and so my lips are like this. And so I'm slurping. I'm talking like Yosemite Sam, right? She's a little suffering succotash, you know. And I got this lip up there. Everybody climbs in. I mean, I didn't get my hands from here. It was jab, jab, jab.
You look like a Rocky fight, right?
I
When Clubber Lang had his head going back. Remember that?
Coming out of my mouth. I got my lip up like this, and I remember my good friend, our trainer at the time, Joe Toole. Finally, everybody comes in there and he sees my mouth bleed. He comes over and grabs me, and he's walking, and I'm steady, still talking trash. I mean, I got 3 jabs. I didn't even see him. Boom, boom, boom. Hit me right in the face. I'm steady, just cussing over my shoulder, talking trash. I turned to Joe and I said, "Don't let me go."
Dude, so that's so great. Steve Atwater told me, I love talking to Steve, and Steve, you and I have talked about it in the past. Steve's really become my guy. He gives me a hug every time. Favorite player growing up. It's one of the great relationships that I have of just going from a fan to a friend with the guy because he's just such a nice guy. We worked together at the last station. So I always ask him stories about Dennis Smith.
Didn't I first introduce you?
You did, yeah. Well, I got the jersey somewhere. You got signed for me.
Yeah.
And so, but I always ask him stories about Dennis Smith because I've never got to talk about Dennis Smith with him, right? And I always remember these hits. You know me. I always remember the hits because I love the hits. And matter of fact, I remember I had a lacrosse coach tell me one time, he goes, we ain't playing football out here, right? I'd like you to go score. Quit trying to, whatever you're doing out here ain't really what we're out here to do. Because I was like, I'm taking 4 runs, and unfortunately, like sometimes like Dennis Smith, just missing guys here and there, you know what I mean? But I love Dennis Smith as much as I love Steve Atwater. And I'll never forget it. One time, Dennis Smith was like late 80s, early 90s. He's going against this guy, Roosevelt Potts, for the Colts. And he hits him, and he broke his face mask. And the dude's face mask is like hanging off right here, right? And I'm like, holy shit, he broke his face mask. So I asked Steve about that hit, and Steve was like, yeah, he gets over, he goes, yeah, you got him. And he picked him up, and Dennis like, don't let me go. He can't let me know that hurt, man. He goes, I can't. Walk me to the sideline. I don't know which way we're going. I guess Dennis was so loopy. He's like, you got to get me back to the white paint, man. Don't let him know he got me. Don't let him know he got me. The dude's face mask is broke, all right? He did not get you, Dennis. He did not get you, but he told Atwater, "You got to get me to the white paint." And I think Mecklenburg came and grabbed him or something. Dude, it was
Well,
crazy.
hey, AFC champ was it the was that Super Bowl, the AFC championship?
Super Bowl. Steve knocked all three out. I asked him about that hit.
Knocked himself out, a teammate out, and the wide receiver out.
Steve told me, he goes, "I don't remember that." I'm like, "I bet you don't. All three of you guys were laying there dead." He goes, "Yeah, if it was modern times, I wouldn't be able to play." And he's laughing. I'm like, "I can't believe you're laughing. You all were missing the last play of the Super Bowl. You know how damn stressed I was Favre was going to go deep without you in there? My God."
And it was Antonio Freeman? Who was the wide receiver?
It was Brooks, Robert Brooks.
Was it Brooks?
Freeman was on the other side. But it was Brooks. He was the skinnier of the two because Brooks would be a Bronco later. That's what I thought. Like Brooks played one season or something like that here. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was funny, man. Dude, Steve, like again, and I saw another one. The 90s football, and look, I got a little Neanderthal in me. If you listen to the show, you know that. Whatever. But, I came from a time where you kind of used sports to show that you were tough enough, does that make sense? You were tough enough to be in the club or whatever. You know what I mean? Because guys are going to test you. We played football in the damn park in my neighborhood where ain't no rules, ain't no ref. You know how many bloody noses I came home from with that? You lose teeth or whatever. It's just what you did. So I liked it rough. I don't want anybody with CTE. I don't want anybody waking up not remember. But back in the day, we didn't know any better. Man, do you realize I watched a highlight tape of NFL films? You know what it was? I pulled up the old VCR quarterback video because I got that game and it's on YouTube. You and I need to play a game one day. But they show a whole highlight video, and I'm like, none of these hits are allowed today. Not a single one of these hits are allowed today. Logan used to tell us the story of getting popped by the guy in Cleveland, and he said he woke up, and as he was in the fencing mechanism, his hand held onto the ball, but he got knocked clean out.
My very first bloody nose, and it turned out I broke it, was playing football, in the big field by our junior high school, middle school. And we had all the neighborhood kids. I mean, we had like 9-on-9. I mean, we had tons of kids. And it was a long pass over the top, and I was like this. And I'm looking straight, falling the ball. Mickey, I'm about Willie Mays this catch, right? I'm like this, right this. And somebody, must have been watching NFL films. We ain't got no pads on. We're playing. It's a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Boom. Blows me up in the face. I caught the ball. And I have no idea how I caught it. Because I think it pretty much knocked me out. I stood up, and the kids on my side are going crazy. Everybody else looking at me, and blood's just like going, coming out my face. I'm about 4 blocks from the house, right? 4 or 5. I don't remember walking home, but I walked home. Somehow, I don't know if somebody walked with me. I don't know. But I go there and show my mom. I got a bloody nose. And I'm pretty sure she took care of it. Went to the doctor the next day. Because I think this was a Sunday afternoon. Went to the doctor the next day. He goes, yeah. And I don't know if they took an x-ray or something. But he goes, yeah, you broke it. But instead of going sideways, it went up. The cartilage popped up this way a little bit. So I got a little bit of a bump right there. That's where it popped straight. But so he said, yeah, you're pretty lucky. I don't have to reset or anything. It just kind of popped straight up. My very first bloody nose and I had to be like 11. My very first bloody nose was playing football. And this would be in the 70s. And everybody thought, we're playing out there with jeans and T-shirts, and everybody's still racking everybody up.
It was a fun time, dude. It was, you know what I mean? How many times? I don't know, man. People don't need to hear old man stories, whether it's a football game that jacked you up. I used to do the bike trick stuff. We used to jack ourselves up on that all the time too, because we were too stupid. I'll say we were too stupid to wear helmets, but the helmets were so big it almost caused your balance to go off. Be trying these tricks where you get the bike vertical, and then I remember one time I got my foot caught and the thing just went straight over, head bounces off the street. But it's just, I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun. I don't care.
Here,
I don't care.
Do
you ever, by the way, do you ever see kids just playing in the park, anything anymore, just on their own? Have we scheduled out sports so much that they don't even have time or desire to do
organized. It's all organized. I read a great book one time, and he said this was, oh gosh, this be in the early 2000s, 90s, about, I think it was the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff book. And it was, kids come to you and say, I'm bored. And you say, good. Go be bored.
Right.
And not being, he goes, that's where creativity comes. He goes, think how many games you invented as a little kid when you didn't have a cell phone to get on, or an iPad, or you didn't have 57 channels or 557 channels on the TV. We played night games. We played all sorts of. We had one game now, probably not play. We played a game called we invented as kids called Bloody Murder. We had another one. We called it Stalag 13 or something, like Stalag something. But you were prisoners of war, and you had 2 or 3 dudes walking the perimeter of this big house. We had a buddy, my neighbor, had a big corner yard, big giant house. The sidewalks were the warning track, and you had to go to the street, and then you had to sit there and go like this for 8 seconds or 10 seconds, and that was you cutting the wire to climb out. And then if you got across the street before anybody saw you, you escaped.
Dude, we used to, when it would snow,
creativity, you got to play, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, when we would, you'd be playing hide and seek forever. You'd, just the hoops are my favorite thing in summertime. I've told you the story before. Go to Lakeside Amusement Park. Across from there is a park called Berkeley Park. And at Berkeley Park, it's still there to this day. There was a single hoop underneath the streetlight, and we would play at that thing until midnight sometimes. The cops would show up. They'd simply flash the lights, and that'd be the sign. All right, boys, wrap it up. They wouldn't even get out of the car. They wouldn't say anything, just a simple flash of the lights, and we knew we had to go home. But, dude, when it snowed, we would play goal line stand, where you take your boot, make a goal line in the snow, and you had your coats and stuff on anyway, right? So you just went at each other because you felt padded up. That didn't always. Someone ended up bleeding off that one too, but but it took a minute or two before someone got popped good enough for that to happen. So
you could play goal line stand with like 3 guys or 2 guys.
Oh yeah, you just needed a blocker, and you just needed enough that it was hard to get to the running back. That was all. And of course, we all wanted to go Al Wilson and try to hit the guy.
Oh yeah.
Remember when Al Wilson hit that? Who was it? Tyrone Wheatley, where he jumped over the top of the pile and met him.
Yep.
God, I love Al Wilson.
That's what put him on the map.
That dude was such a badass. Yeah. He broke his neck, and
then he had that stenosis thing or whatever with the.
Yeah. Well, he should be in the Ring of Fame, bro.
He should be.
He should be. All right, we've gone enough. We've told you enough old man stories. Hopefully some of you old men are out there enjoying it. Anyway, all right, man. We'll do it next week, guys. Maybe we'll aim for Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the night in between, because they go, what do we talk? Monday. We can do a Wednesday because Monday's Labor Day. Show me. Scars. That's a pretty good scar right there.
All right there. High school football, we used this guy, Pete Anderson. Dad was a naval recruiter in town. Face mask, football. He would unscrew the one, that had 2 screws up here on the hold the face mask up. He'd unscrew one and then bend it over. And so when he hits you, and I'm running through the middle like this with the ball, they say I know my arm split open and just bleeding like crazy. That's the kind of guys we grew up with.
Well, yeah, rough neighborhoods, bro. Well, I told someone tonight, I was telling our buddy Dave Tepper, because I talked about going to the front of the net. He was just like, why are you so intent on this? And I'm like, look, dude, you want the straight story? I grew up in North Denver, and it was mainly Latino, and I was white. And so when we would play basketball, you just knew you were going to get smacked a few times. It was a little bit rough.
You were going to get,
you know what?
somehow.
If you stayed in there, they respected you. And eventually, if you drove to the hoop, you were going to get, because frankly, probably it was happening because we saw you guys doing it to Jordan. Nobody got a free ride to the hoop back in the day, even if you're on the playground. And so guess what? When I started playing lacrosse, going to the hoop, whack me with that stick. I don't care. I've been whacked raw. We weren't wearing any pads when we played basketball, and it's not much different. The thought process making it happen. I just want to see a few of our dudes do that. Just go to the hoop, baby. It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. You're good. You're good.
You know what? You're better off for it. Or you're not. Anyway. All right. Hey, by the way, you going to go see Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah. The family goes out of town for a couple of weeks. You want to go?
I'll go with you. My family couldn't even finish the thing, and I want to go see it. I like it.
I read a review on it, said that this new movie will end the Star Wars sagas because it's so bad.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? By the way, this guy wanted a further explanation. Up there it is. When I said I got whacked raw, it was because I didn't have any pads on. When you play basketball, you just got smacked.
Unfortunately, or whatever it says.
I'm sorry. No, I can't. Yeah, there we go. There it was. You guys are talking too quick. I can't get to the comments. You know what? I'm going to say this about that review, though. You know what I get tired of? Oh, it's a stupid Star Wars movie. All it was lightsabers and Jedis. What the hell did you think you were going there for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The acting won't be great. The story isn't going to be, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not War and Peace or whatever your favorite novel is. It's Jedis, and you know how it's going to end.
The review guy that did the one I read is a Star Wars nerd, and he was PO'd because they did the Star Wars properties wrong. I'm still going to go. But
yeah, but I get so tired of this, man. I just get, you're the people that go to a porn and surprised when you get sex. What the hell did you think you were? What the hell did you think you were going?
They wanted a Star Wars movie and they didn't get a Star Wars.
It's not a Star Wars movie. It's its own damn thing.
But it's in the family.
Okay, but it's like some other time, and I ain't got time to follow all your time. You know what this is? This is. I get so pissed off about the Lord of the Rings crew that do this too. Or you know what? What you're talking about is why I haven't finished Game of Thrones. I don't know who all these houses are. I don't know who all these. You got these long ass names. I can't follow your stupid Viking names. Thorson the Large from the Grand Rock Grave. What the hell are you talking about? I can't follow that. Can I just fucking turn in and see just whatever sword fight or something? I don't know.
Well,
speaking of time for all your lineage.
Speaking of sword fights, I need to go sword fight in the little boys' room.
You and me?
I got to go right now, so we need to.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. By the way, I was at Ball Arena. Somebody last night had pee that was sitting there so bad you may need to go see a doctor. I wish I would have said, sir, this does not look healthy. Anyway, we'll see you all next week. Look for us around 8:30 Wednesday night. We'll talk to you then.
See you, buddy. Don't hang up on that.